Here we are. Welcome everybody to Mondays at the LA School of Comedy. You're home for some of the most impressive comedy on the West Side. Not much to say today. Though, of course, you know, Zelensky came to Washington along with half the Europeans in his trail, and he was kind enough this time to have a tailor-made fatigues. He was wearing a military suit. No tie, of course, just his usual black suit, looking like Gestapo, you know. The only real impediment to peace is Zelensky, you know that, right? I met him at the Laugh Factory when he was performing as a comic. He was doing a set because that's what he really is. He's a comic. Putin is more of a clown, but Zelensky's more of a comic. You know, it's funny. I saw Putin waddling. Remember when he was riding around bare-chested on horseback? He's had a lot of kids, though. I actually, at one time, met his baby mama. She was here in L.A., and the kids were performing at the L.A. Lights gymnastics competition. She was a rhythmic gymnast. She was there. She was the big star of the show. Lord knows that no one knew that she was pregnant with little baby Putins, who I don't think see him, actually. I think they live in Switzerland or something. Well, who would really want Putin as their father? I am your father. You will listen to me. I am going to invade your house. I mean, when you really get down to it, what the fuck does he want in the Ukraine? Wheat? Nuclear energy? I mean, what's in the Ukraine? Oh, yeah, I know. There's some rare earth and minerals and everything else. It's all about ego, you know. His ego, Zelensky's ego. But anybody remember the Wagner organization? The guy with the shaved head that Putin blew up in a plane? He made that mistake. He should have kept going to Moscow for that coup d'etat. Die in battle. Instead, he got blown up in an airplane. How boring. Really. And this guy had his little, you know, criminals all over Africa. Because you know where they got the Wagner Group guys from. This is the way, this was the version, all right, of parole in the Soviet Union. Here they just don't bother locking up the criminals. They just let them go. We should do what Putin did with our criminals. Round up all these criminals, including the illegal migrants, put a uniform on them, and ship them to the Ukraine. We could pay them. We could send remissions back to, you know, wherever they came from. But this is a very useful step in terms of working for your citizenship. If you go and join the American Expeditionary Force of Mercenaries, we'll pay you, you know, normal wages, and you will have a chance to die for your country. And if you make it, we'll let you go to citizenship in 7 years. It's a fair chance. You know, the Romans used to do it. They used to manumit their slaves. We need... What's you? Oh, my God. That was from the Democratic corner. Oh, my God. We made somebody work. No, but an 18-year-old kid from Minnesota can get drafted or go in our army. I'm telling you, this is a great idea. All these gangbangers, they already know how to shoot. All right? They're already violent. They're perfect in the Ukraine. We could, you know, what are they going to be fighting against? North Koreans? It's a trial run. We see how badly we can beat the Koreans again. Anyhow. You think, look, we beat them the last time. Good, you know, corn-fed American boys from the South and the Midwest. You know, no one from New York or California. They don't volunteer for the Army, not at all. It's not their shtick. They don't even go to West Point. You get all these people from the South. They all have square heads anyhow. Listen, on that note, we have somebody who I really haven't seen much of his act, but I'm going to assume it's good. You're not a Democrat, are you? Just want to make sure. We'll see from the act exactly how far to the left he is. Calling to the stage now, Cam Berkowitz. Oh, by the way, make sure you tell us your social media where we can find you after your set.
All right. Didn't realize this was a MAGA rally. It brought the wrong material. Sorry, y'all, if I sound a bit congested. It's a condition I have called Judaism. Yeah, it actually has a lot of the same symptoms as COVID. You know, coughing, sniffling, complaining to everyone. And just like COVID, this guy still thinks it's a big conspiracy. I am Jewish, but I grew up in North Carolina, so it's probably why I look like a NASCAR driver's accountant. It's probably why I look like J.D. Vance if the J.D. stood for Jewish doctor. As you might imagine, I didn't grow up with a lot of other Jews, and I know this because half the bar mitzvahs I attended were my bar mitzvah. Yeah, I actually had to share a bar mitzvah with my older brother because we were 2 years apart. So when I was 12 and he was 14, our parents just split the difference. And that's really the most Jewish way to have a bar mitzvah. Less about the rite of passage, more about the discount. When I was 8, my parents accidentally sent me to the wrong summer camp because they didn't realize that YMCA camps in the Bible Belt are Christian. Probably because they heard the YMCA song. So it was just me and this one Hindu kid in the non-believers cabin. It was cool, though. We got to try all these new things, kayaking, archery, communion. When they handed us the little wafer, me and my buddy Vikram, we were just like, worst s'mores ever. But I'm in my 30s now, and I feel like the older I get, the more I appreciate a good Tupperware, right? Yeah. Hell yeah. But you ever notice how there are certain foods that will just retire a Tupperware? Like if I put Indian food in a Tupperware, that Tupperware is now exclusively for Indian food. Or food that's about to become Indian food. You know, it's like when whiskey takes on the flavor of the oak barrel. Now my leftover McNuggets have notes of tikka masala. My 2 best friends are at very different places in life. Like last year, one of them had a baby, and the other one bought a gun. It's cool though, at least when I come over, he keeps it locked up. Unlike the friend with the gun. My friend with a gun, he's always watching all these old war documentaries. It's weird how the armies in old wars just had musicians marching with them into battle. Like instead of a rifle, some of the guys just had like a big drum or a flute. How do you get that assignment? Your drill sergeant in the Revolutionary War is just like, yeah, Jebediah is not great with a musket, but man, can that guy rock. Those guys must have had a traumatic time in the war. Because for the rest of the army, it's just like the Battle of Bunker Hill. But for the musicians, it's the Battle of the Bands. The stakes are high. I mean, yeah, the infantry had to train, but the guy with the piccolo had to rehearse. Not everybody's cut out for life on tour. And you know the Redcoats didn't get the job done because the King of England had literally waged war on our soil, yet we didn't consider it the British invasion until Hey Jude. Y'all, I got cut off by a Waymo on the way over here. The scariest part was I pulled up and there was nobody inside to flip off. So I just flipped off that spinning camera. Just wanted to be on the record. This is my 1-star review. I don't like the Waymos. I don't think that I'm ready for robot cars. I'm still coming to terms with the Roomba. Anybody else? There's a guy in the news, he took a Waymo to the airport and he missed his flight because it locked him inside and drove in the wrong direction. Like, I get that Uber drivers can be chatty, but at least they're not trafficking people. And now they got the little food delivery Waymos, the Cocos. You guys seen these? They're actually kind of cute. It's like if R2-D2 worked minimum wage. But things got dystopian when I saw a Waymo or a Coco cut through a homeless encampment. Can you imagine? You're homeless, you're hungry, you're broke, and a $5,000 robot carrying somebody else's chalupa rolls by. The only thing more patronizing would be if it left a trail of Taco Bell packets. A friend of mine actually ordered a Coco a couple weeks ago, but when it got there, the passcode didn't work to pop the top. So while we're begging customer service to unlock our pad thai, they transferred us to AAA. So we just kicked that thing in front of a Waymo. This week at my job, the CEO announced that he will be future-proofing the organization by laying off hundreds of people. But he didn't call it layoffs. He called it headcount right-sizing. I swear, these guys get paid millions of dollars just to make up silly new words. Do you think that's how they talk at home? Like, honey, I'm not going to lie to you. I have been exploring third-party synergies with the housekeeper. Or, kids, your mother and I are undergoing a strategic restructuring. which means you will be transferring territory every other weekend. Also, Grandpa is about to take a hiatus from life. Yeah, when I started working in corporate, that's when I realized that I don't want to have kids, because my coworkers who have kids, they're the only ones who actually like being at work. Imagine hating your kids so much you start to like your job. Like, how bad is Coco Melon that these people prefer Excel? I asked this one guy how his weekend was, and he was like, oh, it was exhausting. The kids had 2 soccer games, 3 birthday parties, and now everyone in my house has the flu. This budget meeting is the only peace I know. How was my weekend? This is my weekend. I was like, damn, dude, I just drank with my friends. He's like, I'm drunk right now. I think some parents are letting their kids become too cool, too young. Like, my other coworker was like, I got to go pick up my 4-year-old from parkour. We got toddlers doing parkour now? That's way too cool. When I was a kid, there was only one cool activity you could do. It was called karate, and we dressed like we were at a Korean spa. Any yellow belts here tonight? Yeah, karate is great if you want to look like a huge nerd while you get your ass kicked. Yeah, I feel like kids are a lot like baby boomers, because they both just do the darndest things. Baby boomers are very patriotic, right? They like to say thank you for your service to anyone in uniform. My aunt's like that. But to my aunt, it doesn't matter what branch. Army, Navy, parking lot security. I saw this woman salute a mall cop like he just got back from Iraq. And he was just as confused as I was. He was like, ma'am, I only took this job because Foot Locker was too stressful. Like, I saw this woman sob during Paul Blart like it was Saving Private Ryan. I actually just got back in town. I flew on Spirit Airlines. Anyone ever fly on Spirit? Yeah, Spirit's great. You know, the seats are always sticky. Everybody's yelling. The employees can fight. It's basically a Waffle House in the sky. About an hour in, they asked if there was a doctor on board. I was like, a doctor? Dude, this is Spirit Airlines. There's only like 4 people on this plane who graduated high school. You think there's a doctor here? I'm surprised they convinced the pilot to get on this flight. Eventually, they stopped asking for a doctor, just started asking for any 8th grader who's dissected a frog. Yeah, I try not to be condescending, but sometimes I can't help myself. Like last week, a fan commented on one of my comedy videos, and I'm not proud of this, but I corrected their grammar. Because if somebody's going to tell me you're fucking retarded, they should at least use the right version of your. I got like a minute left? Yeah. I'll throw this one at you. Let's see. Isn't it insane that bowling alleys exclusively serve finger foods? You look at any bowling alley menu, it's wings, chicken fingers, pizza, mozzarella sticks. It's the only eatery on the planet where your fingers go in and out of communal mystery holes during the meal. And they encourage you to coat them in buffalo sauce. I feel like the inside of a bowling ball must have its own ecosystem. But I guess you should expect that from the only place in town where you can rent footwear. Anyways, you guys have been great. I'm Cam Berkowitz. Socials at Cam Berkowitz. Hey, you can give it up to your host.
You know, here it is. Sorry, folks. Sometimes the business life intrudes upon what's fun, right? I was just answering one of my partners. I hope you're out there, you midget fuck. Anyhow, I was just answering him. All I know is that we had a client that came well behind us on fees, all right? I don't know how litigators build up $350,000 doing nothing and accomplishing nothing because they just sit there all day playing with themselves. This part is about yay, I got to get it down, about yay high, all right? At least I know I can take them, all right? Bottom line. So here he goes. I write the clients. We asked them. We told them we can't represent them anymore. So they write us an email pleading with us that they want to do all these things. Could we talk to them? So I talked to the senior partner, and he says, "Yeah, let's tell them. We don't want to hurt them." I get this long email from this fool that I'm ahead of my skis. If he doesn't watch it, he's going to end up getting an enema with my skis. Can you imagine that, a ski enema? You know, all that wax, it'll go up nice and easy, except the little metal part on the bottom might hurt a little bit. Maybe the fact that they're this wide, though he's such an asshole, it'll probably do well. Anyhow, on that note, I left my little pad, my little piece of paper over there. Who's next? Who should we bring up? I know who we should bring up. Samantha. What do you mean you knew it? Why? You're the only person answering on your phone. Here we have it. Samantha Lindemann just recovered from her bout with almost COVID. True. The whole family's down with the plague. Well, I just can't wait for that day when it's the public execution of Anthony Fauci on the mall. Shall we do it with a... Ooh. Are we going to use a firing squad, the guillotine, or a plain old drawer and quarter? All right? You never know. Can you imagine an 80-year-old man being chopped into pieces? I have wonders of Fauci. Anyhow, I wax poetic with visions of viciousness. Here we go. Samantha.
Thank you, Mark, for your service. How are you guys doing tonight? Yeah, my whole family got COVID and I missed it. So I'm just kind of living that life, you know. I work with kids, and they are baby boomers. They're racist. They're so racist. And most of the racist kids aren't white. They just don't understand. Like, they must have heard it on Coco Melon. Like, seriously. No, Coco Melon is that bad. Like, we don't let the kids watch movies anymore because we got a new supervisor. But it's like kids need a movie day, like, medically. Like, it was so hot this summer. I love talking about the weather. I did go to Jewish sleepaway camp. I really wanted to go to It's like the whole set. It's so good to meet you. Is it your first time here? Yeah. Welcome. Give it up for Cam. Killed it. My best friend Sydney's here, and we met at Jewish sleepaway camp. We were going for like probably 10 years before we became friends. Like, we were in the same age group the whole time, 10 years, like, but we didn't get to bond. 'Cause I was in the freak tent is what happened. It wasn't like they gave us like a Myers-Briggs test and like put us in tents based on like Hogwarts house. It just so happened that like I was consistently in that tent, you know. But now my sister just like finished there, and apparently the theater kids are the popular kids. So I feel like we got out at a good time. She said like it doesn't matter whose hair is dyed, like they're bullying each other. Like, I don't know, it just sounded really crazy. But sleepaway camp was really scary. I've had to unpack it for years. Just, I wouldn't do any of it now. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody came in my room at 4 a.m. and like blindfolded me and put me on a bus, like, I would never be like, oh, this is like a fun, like, oh my God, like, that's what happened. Like, they really did that. They were like, come on, everybody. And they like blindfolded us and walked us in a line, and they put us on a bus, and they sat us next to someone we weren't really friends with. Like, does this not sound like Scientology? Like, that's crazy. And they were like, it was crazy. It was really bad. But then we woke up when we were in Malibu, so it was like it was so trippy. It was just like, that's so LA, huh? I'm from LA. No, stop. Thank you so much. No, please. Yeah, I've been in, you just said so many buzzwords that resonated with me. I've been in Waymo probably 5 times. First time, fantastic, loved it. Second time, great. Third time, I connect my Spotify, it's better than the first time. Fourth time, she's speeding. And I was like, this is actually like really, like, where do you have to be right now that you are trying to risk my life? And I was Waymoing to the Grove. I know, I'm from LA. I was Waymoing to the Grove, and it dropped me off in a construction site, and all these cars were so upset, and I get out of the back seat, and it was just like, it was crazy. But not really. I feel like they're very common now. I don't like Coco either, and I don't like the scooters, but I keep trying the scooter. Like, I feel like the scooter is the future. But remember that when that guy brought his scooter? I was like, I want to be him so badly. Like, I am so jealous. I don't want to be with him for that. I want to be him for that. Like, I want to be able to just be able to scooter in and off the sidewalk. Yeah, I went to Portland, Oregon. That was really exciting. I don't know why I thought everyone would clap. Like, people travel all the time. I'm just finding this out now. Like, people just, like, get on a plane. Like, anytime I go on a plane for 3 days before, I'm like, you're going to go to the airport. You're going to go. And like, it's so stressful. I don't know. LAX freaks me out. I could have a bag of literally, well, I don't bring anything bad on a plane, but one time when I was coming back from Boston, traveler, my bag, like the alarm went off, and I had this like Empire State Building with Godzilla on it for my dad, and they were like, I knew they thought it was a gun from the shape, and that was like really awkward for me. Like, I'm like, no, it's the Empire State Building with Godzilla on it. And then I realized I had a water bottle in my bag. And she was like, do you realize that you just used a $20 million piece of equipment on a water bottle? And I was like, for $20 more million, you could know that is water. Like, I don't know. I just feel like $20 million and what? We spent 20 minutes, $1 million a minute to figure out I had a water bottle. I'm 15. Like, my mom always packs my bag. One time I went on a plane and they were like, did you pack your own bag? And I was like, no, my mom did. And it was a joke and it wasn't funny. And they hated it. My mom. And she was right there. And she's like, oh my God, do you want me to come with you? Fine, I'll come with you. That's my mom. She's a trip. She's really funny. She's scared of everything and fearless. And I find that fascinating. Like, she is never scared to say, my order is not only wrong, but terrible. And I want to speak to somebody besides you, even though I just told you that. But then she's like, oh my God, we're crossing the street in the middle of the street. Oh my God. And I got that from her. I used to say I feel like jaywalking on a first date is worse than like getting pregnant on a first date, because I don't know. It's like then you have to pay for somebody's hospital bills. I would sue the fuck. I'd be like, I never jaywalk. I could have 15 people testify that I won't jaywalk, and it's like upsetting. Like, and then when I do it bad. I like run in front of a car, and everyone's honking. I wrote things down actually to share with you guys because it's been so long. And then I looked at it when I was sitting down, and it was 4 things. So that was really embarrassing. My friend said, and I thought this was a really great quote that I want to build upon, which is that being an Orthodox Jew is a very expensive hobby. And I never thought about it like that. You know, like obviously like people like you're born into Orthodox Judaism. I almost was. I avoided that as well as Corona, like avoiding being an Orthodox Jew. Nothing wrong with it. It's just not really for me. An Orthodox Jewish man flirted with me once on my street. I live in like the Jewish neighborhood of Los Angeles. I know you're probably like, which one? But there's one big one. And that's where I live. My address, no. The Waymo, take this Waymo to that Waymo, and then, yeah, we live across the street from the temple, and it's like the temple my parents got married at. Like my bar mitzvah was there, and my mom is on the committee against them, like for noise complaints. Because they are so loud. Like they have a mic for kids pickup, and they'll be like, Ezra R, your mom's here in a Lexus license plate. And I'm like, you're trying to get Ezra killed. You are screaming the most Jewish names and being annoying to the point where my dad's like, let's play Christian rock off the balcony. Like, that's really so bad. And they're doing construction, and they bought the whole block. It's just like, really, we need this much temple. Yeah, I don't know. I was never a big fan of temple. I don't know. There's not much more to say. I don't know. Like, some people, like, the way they talk about loving church, I've never heard someone talk about loving a synagogue like that. You know, church is like people leave and they feel, like, refreshed, like they knew something that they didn't know before. And I feel like every time I, like, walk out of temple, it's just, like, the chillin' was so bad. Like, it's just, like, something about the food wasn't bad. I mean, the food was bad. I know the Jewish food thing is so hack, but it won't stop coming up in my life. Like, I try to live every day without this, like, Jewish stereotype situation. It's just, like, I had a family party yesterday. Food. It's all we talk about. How we made the food. If we made the food. I picked up the food, but, you know, I did 3 trips to pick up the food. It's fascinating. It's really fascinating. One time I reached for a donut, and my grandma was like, can you imagine eating a whole one of those? You would die. And I was like, what did you think? I was like, I'm going to bite a donut and put it back? Like, that's crazy. My grandfather just kicked a nurse in the stomach. And I feel like the more I say it, the more I will, like, be desensitized to it. You know, I know what happens. Like, old people, like, they expire, like, gradually. But it's really crazy. And I laughed so hard when I heard it. And I felt so embarrassed. Because nobody got hurt, you know what I mean? Like, if anything, he would have got more hurt. hospital for 5 more days because he kicked a nurse. Anyways, it's good to be back. I haven't done this in so long, like probably 9 days. So missed you guys. And thank you, Mark. Miss you soon, though.
Where are you from? You got your list. Well, there's not that much left.
True. I think you'll be okay.
I could go eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
There you go.
Right? I mean, I set up, I did fine stuff here. I made a mistake here. I went ahead and I didn't follow Aaron's instructions. Left winger. Anyhow, Samantha went to Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon is a stain on the North American continent. But there's a reason why it's a stain on the North American continent. They messed with Sunda. She put such a deep binding curse on Portland, Oregon, that the day after she left, they started having Antifa-goons marching through going, Sunda told us to destroy this place. And they have. They burnt it down. Do not mess with my wife. You will be cursed. And you never know how long those curses will last. Don't you laugh. You could be next. Anyhow, quite a day today in America. Quite a day. Watching everybody melt down. Nicole Wallace on MSNBC, which now changed its name. They're now called MS Opinion or MS Now Opinion. Sounds like a website for a 3-year-old. But then again, they haven't been making very much money. It's like people worrying about Colbert. All of you out there in the entertainment industry, wouldn't you like to be paid $15 million to fail? Because isn't success in Hollywood measured by how many viewers you have or how much you bring in ad revenue? Otherwise, you can't afford your budget and 100 writers to write drivel. Anyhow, we're going to bring to stage that paragon of drama teaching. The man ahead of his time. The Airbnb landlord from Colorado. We'll tell that story later. Aaron McIntyre.
Thank you, Mark. Wow. Wait. Yeah, no. Check out the T-shirts.
Aaron's running a contest.
We got merch.
Come up with a nasty nickname for Zoran Mondani.
Yeah.
And you get a free T-shirt. We got one good one there from Hunter White. What was that again? Zoloft Mondani? Zoltan Mondani. We had, and then Alan Weiss came in with Zoloft Mondani. We're waiting out for the rest of you, Sam. You come out with your nickname. Anyhow, if you take 4 of Aaron's classes, you get one of these beautiful T-shirts for free.
Yeah.
Not at $20.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark, for the endorsement and advertising. You can start my time now. But man, so much information tonight, Kim, and I'm so glad you're here, man. It's fucking awesome. Yeah, I was going to come up here and talk about all the political upheaval. It's so great. It's like we're talking about Putin waddling out. They had a speeded up thing of Trump walking down the red carpet, and he's literally walking like going back and forth. And he looked at. You know what I think would be really fun is if Putin like just came out on that red carpet and then just started doing one of those those Russian like that would be fucking hilarious, because that's what he must have been doing inside, because he came and they said, oh, we're gonna have a dinner, and he goes, I ate on the plane, so I don't need dinner. And then they went in front of the press, and of course, it's the Russian guy, so there's going to be no questions from the press, because that's against the law there to speak out. But there was just so much stuff being talked about today, and of course, now that I'm up here, absolutely everything is out of my fucking head. I can't remember a goddamn thing. I did go to camp. I went to camp. A couple of times, Shady Brook, Camp Shady Brook. And the first day, I'm like, I'm at camp, we're out in the wilderness and there's a lake and all this stuff. Oh, look, there's a fence. and and it's like one of those rail fences. So I got up on it, and I'm like, oh, look at me. I'm walking on the fence. And both feet went on either side of the beam. Boom, right down there on my balls. I fell right over into stinging nettle. I don't know if you've ever experienced stinging nettle, but it basically put me in the infirmary for 2 days. And so that was about the first 2 days of my camp. And lots of hazing going on there, lots of leaky tents. What else? Oh man, it is a very, very crazy place right now. And I am noticing, there's not a lot of color in here tonight. And I was hoping for more black people because I like black people, and white people are just way too judgy. You know what I mean? They just judge you for everything, especially those Christian right people. I'm sorry. Some of you guys are great. It's all about the love. I actually am a Christian myself, or at least I say I am for this particular part of my act. And I basically went through and I did what Thomas Jefferson did. I don't know if you know, Thomas Jefferson actually took the Bible and he made his own Bible. So he just ripped out all of the things that he liked and he put it in his own Bible. I've done that as well. It's a pamphlet. It's about that big. Because the rest of it is, it's more like a cautionary tale that you tell the children when they're going to sleep so that they can't, mess around, Wouldn't want them spilling their seed on the ground, which I have never wanted to do. I have never, ever thought, I think I'm going to, spill my seed on the ground. But fortunately, the Bible doesn't say anything about spilling it in a sock. So, I'm good. Lots of begatting and begetting in the Bible. Poor Moses just worked his ass off. God, man, that guy just was running everywhere. He was running up on Mount Sinai. He was freeing the Jews. He was parting the sea and doing all this amazing stuff that even with the millions of dollars that we have, we can't do any of that shit, And then this guy just walked out with a rod and went, woo, and the sea parted, and, he dragged the Jews through and then drowned all the Egyptians, and they were gone. Which brings me to the cancellation theory. I am so effing sick of all the white people out there saying that they're being canceled. We make up a huge portion of the world, and there's millions of people, and we want to make more? I think we have enough. I think there's enough because, obviously there's enough because there's too many people right out front here that don't have any place to live. And so Trump's going to come in and get rid of the slums in Washington, D.C. You heard about that? He's going to get rid of the slums. It's like, so what are you going to do with the people who are in the slums? You're going to just kick them out on the street? And then we got that problem to deal with. And I'm not really sure where we're going. I'm very hopeful, though, because I saw some videos of that. By the way, none of the big media, the MS, what are they? MS propaganda arm. Nobody's covering this shit, but the protests. I saw some videos of the protests. Oh my God! I thought I was looking at Belarus or Russia because it was just there were so many people. It was like blocks and blocks, nothing but people out there trying to get rid of King Trump. Thank God. But it was really, really amazing that none of the corporate media is covering any of that shit. They're not even showing it. Yeah, and it's like, why wouldn't you? And then Newsom, who some call New Scum, and apparently Trump was like, yeah, I made up that I made up that. I can't do him. I made up that name. Isn't that original? And Newsom goes, no, there was a kid in 7th grade who started calling me that. So, it's not like it's anything new. And if you don't get the, if you don't figure out that Newsom could be Newscum, then you're an idiot. You're a total idiot. But yeah. Let's see here. What else was talked about tonight? Zoloft Mondavi. I like that. What is... did anybody ever see, and this is totally not, but I just think it's so funny. Orson Welles did God, what was it? It was like some champagne commercial years ago, and they've got outtake. You got to look it up on YouTube. It's freaking hilarious because he's doing this commercial for what was it? Anyway, it doesn't matter. So it's a champagne, and he's got this guy, this young man and this young woman, and they're sitting with him, and he's talking about it, and he's going, this is the best. He's just so absolutely drunk, and you could see these two people who are obviously, they're actors. It's a national commercial. They're all excited to be there, and they're sitting there going, oh my God, when's he gonna get through this fucking speech? And he just couldn't get through it. It's funny, funnier than that. What I just said. So watch that. Oh man, there was something you said, Cam, that just triggered something. It triggered something. Oh, it was the Waymos. Those Waymos. I'm triggered. I get triggered by the Waymos because they sound like vacuum cleaners. When they're going down the street. And I have a story about when I was a kid. I used to run on my couch and do like a superhero thing where I'd jump over the top of the couch, and my mom kept telling me don't do that. And so one day she's back in the back of the house, and so I go, oh, this is my chance, and I ran, and my foot caught on the back of the couch, and I went boom right on my head, knocked myself out, which was one of 8 times that I fell on my head from a high place, and that of course explains me. But anyway, I'm laying there blacked out, and I wake up to the sound of a vacuum cleaner. And I look up, and my mother is vacuuming around my head. She goes, I told you not to jump on that fucking couch. Not, oh, honey, are you okay? Not, which is the second time I fell out of a second-story window, and she was at a cocktail party, and they called her and said, he fell out of a second-story window on his head. And my mother said, he better really be hurt. And just to give you an idea of my family, I woke up, I came to after falling out of a second-story window on my head in a half-full bathtub with bloody water in mid-scream. So a kid falls out of the window, you don't take him to the hospital, you just put him in a bath because you got to clean that wound out or something. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Anyway, that's a little bit about me and a little bit about other stuff. And boy, that time went fast. And so I'm just going to say I got acting classes here, 7 p.m. Tuesday nights. Show up. It's going to be fun. Got cool merch now. And my social media is Aaron McIntyre, AERON, totally a marketing thing. Just trying to get those clicks. So I'm going to give it up to Mr. Wonderful, Mr. Happy, Mr. Bright. Mr. Bright! Oh, now I'm going to say some other things.
You got your time. What are you complaining about?
Thank you, Mark.
Speaking of Aaron, by the way.
Now he's going to rip on me.
Speaking of Orson Welles, has anybody ever noticed how geniuses like genius actors like Orson Welles and Marlon Brando end their lives looking like Jabba the Hutt? It's terrible, by the way. Marlon Brando was a sex god when he first burst on the scene. That famous picture of him in the Wild Bunch or with the Wild Ones with that hat, right? Streetcar Named Desire. Stella! Come on. The man was, Marlon Brando. Mr. Christian. On Mutiny on the Bounty. Orson Welles. Trim, beautiful-looking guy, right? Look at the movies he made. Look how great they were. Both ended their lives looking like Jabba the Hutt. It was horrible. That Orson Welles was doing a Paul Masson commercial. Cheap, shitty California wine, probably made by Newsom's father. Because you know who that, because the bottom line on the Newsom family is how they got started, all right, ripping off the John Paul Getty estate and sharing it with the Pelosi's. Then they went into the wine business. Why do you think they like untrammeled immigration? Slave labor to pick their grapes. That's all it's about for them, slave labor to pick their grapes. And on that note, here we come to the stage, the next coming of Cesar Chavez. He's a Cincifuentes. We're going back out. All right. Billy Ramirez.
Ah, the French. Aaron. Yeah, that's how it starts. Ah, the French. Have you seen the frog cartoon version of that? Yeah, on YouTube. It's really funny. It's a frog cartoon. Anyways. All right, I got some silly thoughts and loose ideas, which is going to be the title of my first special. Let's see. Pick a card. Actually, you know what? I shouldn't pick a card. That's I don't like. No one ever asked me to pick a card, please. I can only imagine just a few things more anxiety-inducing than being asked to pick a card. I like magic. I like card tricks, but don't ask me to pick a card because inevitably, when you get asked to pick a card, you have to remember what the card says, and then you got to put it back in the deck. Okay, and then after I put the card in the deck, it feels like I have to remember the cooking instructions after I threw away the package. You know, it's like, oh, geez, is it 35 minutes at 400 degrees or is it 45 minutes at 300 degrees? Like, I don't. What's that? My card? Oh man, I'm sorry. It was the Jack of Lanterns. I don't know. Like, I'm sorry, I ruined your trick. But if you think that's bad, I burned my dino nuggets. All right, so we're both having a bad day. You just unlocked that from the archives when you were talking about your nuggets. I do have one question though. How you put nuggets in Tupperware? You don't finish your nuggets?
In the universe in which the joke exists.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, I was saying like, yeah, there's the joke part. Like, you look like a nugget finisher. Sorry. Anyways, let's see. What's another thing I don't like? I like nuggets. I don't like being asked to pick a card. Let's see. I don't like the term I took the liberty. I hate the term I took the liberty. It's like, because usually it's such a grandiose term, usually used for something so trivial. It's like, oh, I took the liberty of ordering cheesy poppers for the table. They're spicy. Try them. And it's, like, I don't care. It's like, or something like, I took the liberty to tip the valet for you. And if I was like, well, why you got to phrase it like that? I was going to get around to it. Like, just, all right, fine. It's a personal thing. But, but the main thing I'm saying is like, I took the liberty to not ask you to do that. So anyways, all right. Ooh, yeah, this one. I recently upgraded my car. I treated myself to a bitchin' yellow vet. Yeah, I've been driving around for 2 weeks, just cruising around and looking for the ladies, and it's not working. I don't know what it is. I'm cruising around in my bitchin' yellow vet, but haven't met one single lady who wants to take a ride, and I don't know why, because as far as I'm concerned, 1982 Chevette's a perfectly nice car. Let's see. Oh, this one's old. This one one of the first jokes I ever wrote. Years ago, I used to write for a magazine called Drum Magazine, and up in San Jose, and got to go to a lot of concerts. And one time, my editor took me to go see a band called POD. I don't know if you remember POD. They had a couple of hits, Alive and the other one. And after the show, my editor and I went to a bar, had some beers, and my editor had a bit of a short temper. And at one point, I was looking at hockey highlights on the screen. He thought I was ignoring him, so he threw a beer at me. And it's been almost 20 years since that incident, and that son of a bitch is still yet to apologize for taking me to that goddamn concert. POD, that's the worst. Let's see. This is more of a thought. I haven't fully formed it, but I pulled up in my bitchin' yellow vet. I was pulled up to a red light, and I saw a panhandler. It was that night, and he had a sign. But I couldn't read the sign. I got mad that I couldn't read the sign that I was going to ignore in the first place. You know, like kind of like expecting him to have, you know, lights and whatnot, basically turning his sign into a marquee, you know, just whatever. But, and then I thought, you know, if you know, you could light up your sign like a marquee, you could put two of them together and call it a double feature. Yeah, that's as dumb as it sounded, yes. That's stupid. Gonna cross that one out. Let's see. Oh, speaking of, you haven't heard this one. This one's dumb. You ever play those Super Mario games? Okay. You know when you stomp on a Koopa Troopa and it turns into a shell, and then you tap the shell and it goes shooting across the floor? You know why that is? Turtle wax. I don't care. I'm gonna keep that one. That one's gonna stay. Oh, this is okay. So I recently had a bout of food poisoning. And if you've never had a bout of food poisoning, it kind of feels like being stuck in a reply all email chain. Okay, because after a while, it just you know, you just you poop, but there's nothing coming out. There's no usable content. You know, it's like, and you know, I should have rehearsed that. I forget it. I'm just gonna. So I'm trying to remember. Like I forgot the entire middle of that joke. But anyways, you know how I knew I was over my food poisoning? Because I could sneeze confidently again. Yeah, I mean, if I add the middle to that joke, it might be something there. Let's see. Collapse of society. Oh yeah, that one's too long. That's part of my. Jazz, drums, trumpets. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, I screwed this one up last week. It's been a while since I tried this one. So, my name is Billy Ramirez, and I'm not afraid to tell you that I am ticklish. I am violently ticklish. And the reason I'm not afraid to tell you that I screwed it up already. See, I screwed up the beginning. The reason I'm not afraid to tell you that I'm ticklish is because I'm violently ticklish. You know, like I know when someone tells you that, if someone tells you that they're ticklish, you might get an urge to try to tickle them, but I wouldn't try it with me. No, tickle me at your own risk. No, tickle me at your own peril. No test tickles for you. Yeah, so I'm so ticklish that it's even affected my dating life. Like I took this woman back home, and we were sitting down on the couch, we were having some wine, and then she accidentally brushed her elbow on my side, and I yelped like a goat. You know, I'm sorry. Just if I get tickled, you know, I act like I'm being electrocuted by a ghost, right? So then, because she knew I was ticklish, she did it again on purpose, you know, just to see how cute it was. And it wasn't that cute. Like I just instinctively just swiped my arm and shot my wine glass across the living room. You know, like my wine went flying, and so did my chances with her. You know, it's like I'm sorry. If I get tickled, I act like a soccer player, just trying to draw a foul. You know, But anyways, you know, like I said, it's affecting my dating life. Like, for example, one time I accidentally ended a relationship because of how ticklish I am. I was just staring out, and standing on the balcony, just staring out to nowhere. She comes up behind me, tickle, tickle. Oh, my good Lord, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Let me see your nose. Let me see. Oof. Full Picasso. Oh, God. It's not that bad. It was pretty bad. And that was also the start of her blue period. All right. I'll try this one again. Speaking of ruining relationships or potential relationships, I recently stopped seeing this woman because of who her favorite Ninja Turtle is. You know, I didn't know that I could be repulsed by a woman who not only knows the Ninja Turtles but appreciates the Ninja Turtles. Until she told me who her favorite Ninja Turtle was. Like, and as an 80s and 90s kid, I loved the Ninja Turtles. I learned everything there is to know about life from the Ninja Turtles. Like, number one, pizza solves everything. Number two, violence is acceptable as long as you're wearing a headband. And number three, giant rats make good parental figures. Okay? But then we got in a conversation about the Ninja Turtles, and then she told me who her favorite Ninja Turtle was. And she said, Donatello, the one with the stick. Okay? If you're not familiar with the Ninja Turtles, there's 4 of them. Michelangelo, or no, let's start with Leonardo with the 2 cool swords. He's got these big, giant, shiny swords that he could just chop someone's head off. And then Raphael's got these 2 pokey forks you could stab someone with. And then Michelangelo's got the nunchucks. Nunchucks are always fun. Like, you know, if you ever have a roll of Christmas wrapping paper, and then it bends in the middle, you get your own free nunchucks, you know. Anyways, but she chose the one with the stick, you know, the one with the weapon that you use to clear raccoons out of the trash, you know. It's like, Jesus, Donatello. Oh my! I know he's the leader of the Ninja Turtles, but who cares with that stupid stick? It's like, when things are going down, the three other Ninja Turtles are just kicking ass, but Donatello is out there just twirling his baton like he's trying to try out for a JV color squad or whatever. Competitive baton twirling. Oh, that'll intimidate people. But I don't know. This might have been a sign, though. Like maybe she was just trying to signal to me that she likes guys with a big old rod. In any case, it wasn't going to work out. All right, let's see. We got a couple minutes. Long line. Yeah, okay. Turtle wax, ticklish, jazz drums. This one's stupid. I'll do it just because it's all right. Being on stage as a comedian has been an interesting experience to me because I've been a drummer for far longer. And as a drummer, I usually have several layers in front of me and between myself and the crowd. There's amps and instruments and other band members and my drum set. And then I'm just tucked, back in my little nook back there, And doing stand-up comedy feels like showing up to a gig and the rest of the band didn't show up. And I somehow lost my drums on the way. So then I'm just like, oh, you want me to do all the music? I don't. I can do some trumpet sounds with my mouth. Speaking of trumpet sounds, I like listening to jazz, Miles Davis, the classics, Duke Ellington, John Coltrane, but whenever I listen to all those jazz cats, I just cannot stop thinking about how angry they all were. They were all so angry, all these jazz cats. And if I had a time machine, I wouldn't go back and try to rewrite history. I would just go to New York City in the 50s and 60s and go to one of these jazz clubs just to see one of these jazz cats just lose it. I think it'd be hilarious, just like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, this next song is called My Beautiful Love, all right? 2, 3, 4. Stop. Jones, goddammit, you come in late one more time. I'm going to drag in front of everyone. I'm going to stomp on you until your head bleeds, all right? If you think I'm playing, just try me. 2, 3, 4. Anyway, that was dumb. Anyways. My name is Billy Ramirez. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at middleaged muchacho and at billyramirez.com. So please welcome back to the stage to wrap up the live portion of the show, America's sweetheart, Mark Zaffron.
Elbows, fists, never know. I never liked when my wife named me America's sweetheart. When she started doing that, she had a television show for a significant period of time. It was called the James and Sunda Show on Jewish Life Television. What was scary is that they had 500,000 viewers. Most of them concentrated in the South, all Bible belters. They just loved the show. But she had great guests. You'd never be surprised what was on. So they used to force me to come down on a Friday to do America's Sweetheart. In those days, the enemy to people was Jimmy Carter. He was an enemy to people. Jimmy Carter is responsible for more bad things that have happened in this world than any one single human being. And he prayed over it while he was doing it, too. Proof that organized religion may very well be opium. So, just the answer to the world, and I never understood Ninja Turtles. But if you look at it, how could you possibly do Teenage Ninja Turtles in today's environment? You would be accused of culturally appropriating the Japanese concept of ninjas, and you'd be accused of insulting turtles. How dare you use those animals without their permission? And how dare you insult ninjas by putting little masks on turtles and saying that it's okay? I thought it was one of the more ridiculous shows that I never watched. Ninja Turtles. Oh, my God. When I was growing up, we had different shows. All right? Captain Kangaroo. But at least we had Batman. With Batman, you could last. Now, where's Burt Ward today? Who, by the way, was on Sunda's show selling dog food. This is what happens in Hollywood. You never know. Anyhow, this has been the LA School of Comedy. Brought to you live by YouTube and Aaron McIntyre. We're going to thank everybody in our studio audience. We thank Billy Ramirez, the Lechonka King of Northern California. Aaron McIntyre. By the way, folks, that's a DBA. It's an alias. His real name is Harry Smith. We have Samantha Lindemann. We have all of our contestants today in the Zoran Mondavi Evil Nickname Contest. All right, I got to write something to Donald Trump and ask him what his submission is. All right? Anyhow, here we are. Here we go. It's been fun.